This is Spider-Man Unlimited, a storyline contained on the Marvel Unlimited app. This story is following 616 Peter Parker as he is chasing Spot through the multiverse to prevent him from killing all of the other Spots within the multiverse. But Spot recruited Insomniac's Spider-Man to join him, and now Insomniac's Spider-Man is going to be fighting against proper Spider-Man from the 616. This is Comicstorian. I make audio dramas of your favorite comic books so that you know what to add to your collection. If you enjoy this type of content, look for us on Spotify or our sister channel, Comicstorian Full Story. And you can support us directly over at Patreon. Today we're going to be covering Spider-Man Unlimited issues 4, 5, and 6. Spider-Man 1048 fires a concussion blast from his webbing, sending 616 straight through the wall. 616 gets to his feet asking about the weapon. Yeah, what? You only shoot webs from your web shooters? Insomniac Spider-Man asks as Spidey nods, getting to his feet. Yeah, I'm a purist. Insomniac Spider-Man pulls out a suspension and matrix, preparing to throw it, but Spidey fires a web that sticks the grenade to his hand. The weapon then goes off, pulling Insomniac Spider-Man into the air and holding him there. Well, I walked into that one. He sighs, but he merely taps a button and the grenade deactivates. He doesn't hesitate, launching himself at Spidey, kicking him hard in the stomach, knocking them both into traffic. Both Spider-Men look up as the traffic is careening towards them, two drivers trying to swerve and go barreling towards the walls. But both Spideys fire webbing, pulling the cars to safety. Sorry, my bad, they both say in unison. The two heroes stare at each other for a moment, before Spidey points up to the rooftops. How about we take this to the rooftops so that no one gets hurt? He suggests. Insomniac Spider-Man nods in agreement. Once the two of them get there, they continue their fight while Spot is easily escaping through his portals. Dude, you let the bad guy go. You can't be me, Spidey shouts as he lashes out at Insomniac Spider-Man. But the other Spider-Man points out that Spot said that he could go past and fix something, bring someone back. He's lying! And if he could do that, he would have already, Spidey tells him, dodging another kick, and the two continue to trade blows while Spidey tries to get through to Insomniac Spider-Man. But the alternate Spider-Man hits him again and again. I don't care what your name is, you're not me. You can't be. To lose Uncle Ben like that, when it's all my fault, and then lose May? He bellows back at him. But Prime Universe Spidey dodges another blow and webs the hero's fist to the wall. Hold on. Aunt May? He says in surprise. Insomniac Spider-Man stops fighting as he tries to pull his fist free. He finally rips the concrete door off the ground and throws it at Prime Spidey. But the lights go out of him, and he falls to his knees, telling Prime Spidey that all he had to do was be selfish for once, and he could have saved Aunt May. Stop caring about people and just look out for myself and the people that I care about. But I can't do that! Insomniac Spider-Man snaps angrily, knowing that Ben and May would have been disappointed. 616 Spidey finally walks over to him, putting his hand on his shoulder. You're right. I don't understand. My Aunt May? She's still alive. The two finally sit together. Help me understand, okay? Talk to me, Spidey says. So Insomniac Spider-Man explains what happened in his world. How he only had enough time to create a cure for the city or only cure May before she died. He leaned over her dying body. I don't know what to do, he whispered to her. But she smiled back up at him. Yes, you do, 616 Spidey said, finishing the story. He helps Insomniac Spider-Man to his feet, telling him that his May says it all the time. Hey, I got an idea, Prime Spidey says. And in a short time, the pair of Spider-Men are sitting on a nearby rooftop, watching Aunt May work at the Feast Center. The two compare how their lives are different and the same, with 616 shocked that Insomniac Spider-Man and MJ are making it work. Dude, don't tell me that you messed that up, Insomniac Spider-Man groans at his alternate self. And finally they begin to swing through the city, finally having some trust in each other. Prime Spidey explains that they can't allow Spot to kill other versions of himself. So Insomniac Spider-Man is shocked, having only seen Spot give the alternate version of himself a piece of his powers. Yeah, except later he goes back and he kills that Spot, Prime Spidey tells him. Insomniac Spider-Man finally stops on a nearby gargoyle, shouting into the night air. I'm such an idiot, he bellows. But Prime Spidey looks at his alternate self, telling him that they must travel through the multiverse and they should stop Spot. I know it's not our first choice, but I could use the company. Insomniac Spider-Man pauses for a moment before nodding, turning back to his alternate self. Okay, so this fight just turned into a team-up? But how do we follow Spot? Can you open dimensional portals or something? He asks, and Prime Spidey shakes his head. but he has an idea. The pair end up going to Avengers Mansion, which stands dark in the city. Inside, Prime Spidey borrows their lab to make adjustments to Doom's tracker watch. I still can't believe you're in the Avengers, Insomniac Spider-Man tells him, pointing out that the Avengers are rarely in New York in his universe. Prime Spidey finally puts the finishing touches on the watch, but explains that they need it to power up. What are the odds we're going to find another Dark Force? Insomniac Spider-Man asks, and Prime Spidey just stares at him for a moment. How many superheroes are there in your Manhattan? Insomniac Spider-Man shrugs. Regularly? Maybe half a dozen? You got more here? Just a tad, Prime Spider-Man tells him. Later at St. Patrick's Cathedral, Spidey is introducing his alternate self to Cloak and Dagger. Cloak uses his powers to charge up the Friend's watch, which then leaves him powerless for a short time while he recharges. Spidey thanks him and throws a portal onto the ground. If we're not back in a couple of days, can you guys call Blue Marvel? He asks his friends before the pair disappear into the multiverse, following the energy signatures of Spot. The pair step out of the portal, and Insomniac Spider-Man looks around in wonder. Did it work? Did we find Spot? He asks, and Prime Spidey motions to the dead body on the floor. Well, sort of. Our Spot must have moved on. The tracker doesn't read his energy signature anywhere. You think there's anyone on this Earth who can help us do more than play catch-up? Prime Spidey looks around the strange lab that they seem to be in. Depends what Earth we're on. Some are exactly like our own, while others are pretty weird. His voice begins to trail off at the sight of a body part in jars. Both spider senses begin to go off, and they begin to whirl at a blast of energy ripping into the ground. A tripod mech then rushes at them, with its driving green-skinned driver declaring that he will kill them all in the name of the Scorpsman. Prime Spidey leaps up, webbing the driver, and someone leaps out of the shadows, beheading him. A warrior armed with a sword then stands on top of the tripod, smiling. "Good to see you again, Spider-Man!" Killraven shouts in a greeting. Spider-Man nods, remembering his old friend. Killraven! So that's where we ended up, he says to his alternate self. But Insomniac Spider-Man takes a look through the destroyed walls and sees the apocalyptic version of Manhattan. His eyes widening in shock, and fear begins to overtake him. Prime Spider-Man calms him down, explaining that this world was invaded by Martians in the year 2000. MJ, Miles, I have to see if they're all right, Insomniac begins to state, but Prime Spidey explains that there isn't anything that they can do. They can't change this world. All we can do is help the good guys who belong here. And Killraven smiles, explaining that the war against the Martians is actually going well. Prime Spidey thanks him and explains that they are merely passing through. With that, he opens up another portal and the pair step through it. Man, is that like the worst alternate world you've been to? Insomniac Spider-Man asks, and Prime Spidey shakes his head. It's a bad one, but I've seen worse, he says. With that, the pair then arrive on Earth 1053, a world where Peter actually sided with Dr. Octopus and put on the Neuralink. Insomniac Spider-Man is shocked to see a world so similar to his own, where Otto and Spider-Man have become dictators that control everyone. He tries to make some sense of it with his alternate self, but Prime Spidey interrupts him as the pair continue to fight against a horde of citizens. They're not going to listen to you. I've met evil versions of myself. They never do, he says, but Insomniac Spider-Man refuses to listen as the pair continue to fight against the Neuralink-controlled citizens of the city until Prime Spidey finally opens up another portal. But Insomniac Spider-Man is still trying to talk some sense into a Peter close to himself. Sadly, evil Peter Parker motions to the crowd, explaining that he saved everyone. From the group of attackers, Aunt May then steps forward, whirling a baseball bat. Wait, I have to! Insomniac Spider-Man begins to shout, but Prime Spidey grabs him, knocking him through the portal. No, you don't. They'll be okay here. Both Evil You and Otto want to protect people in their own twisted way. Prime Spidey explains, and Spidey then finally realizes that the Spot is trying to lead them through dimensions where he has set traps with their alternate selves. So we're going somewhere else for a beat, to regroup, where there's no alternate version of the Spot. With that, the pair pass through a portal, suddenly arriving in a bright and colorful world. Do you remember Spider-Ham? This is where he's from. Everyone's a cartoon animal. Prime Spidey explains, and the two of them look around at the animated Central Park. Nothing can hurt us in a cartoon, right? Prime Spidey asks, and Insomniac Spider-Man shakes his head as they look around. Then why is my spider sense going off? He asks, and behind them, a massive cartoon lizard steps out from behind the trees, preparing to squash them. The story of the two Spider-Men teaming up is going to be continuing, so like and subscribe because this story is to be continued.